Hey guys, happy afternoon. We're almost through another week. If we hang in there another day or so, we'll be all right. I'm the wicked lady hippie at the bar. Bar's at my house, so I don't have to call Uber, which I enjoy not having to do. So jump in, live chat. Better turn you back up. Let's see, here we go. Live chats and drop in chat. It's always live. I like to do them live. Just talk to everybody pretending I can see if they're in their underwear. So it's for entertainment purposes only. Do me a favor. I'm all woman. I'm not making money at this. Is social Woodstock to me without the mud. It's just awesome to laugh and learn from everybody around the world. It's such an amazing thing to me. No, I'm not no spring chicken. That's why it says hippie. Y'all been using that title for a long time, but it was my generation that started that shit, and we'll probably end that shit. In case you're not aware, let's see, Army veteran, published author, grandmother of two, one's already an Army veteran. Um, that's me in a nutshell. Still have a husband dragging me around, or vice versa, but we don't tell that stuff, do we, ladies? So let's see what's going on in the world again today. I was checking and peeking and going, oh my God, it's always something. There's never a day I get up and I go, look, it's just sunshine and fresh air and nobody's been murdered and the president didn't sign five more things that somebody isn't going to like. It's like, fuck the, fuck the, fuck the, fuck the, fuck the, to borrow from Cat Williams. It's like every time I turn on YouTube in the mornings while having coffee, I hear that line in my head. It's fuck the, fuck the, fuck the, fuck the. It's like, come on, like it's not Monday. So how hard could this be? I will bring up the fact that I always said I, I would mention Charlie Kirk's name. I was a follower of Candace Owens ahead of this assassination. I only knew Charlie as the prove me wrong young guy on campus. Didn't know he had a wife, didn't know he had children, thought he was in his 20s, just running around college. Didn't know he had a website, didn't know he was into politics. Because when I was growing up, it was don't talk about these two things, politics and religion. Because somebody's going to go just stupid and they'll go spare if you mention any of this. And so we learned not to do that. You didn't even try to do that. After the first attempt, it was like, good. It's nice out today. So I cracked myself up. Yes, I do. I should go out more, but I'm recovering from an injury that took me 10 months to get actually standing upright on my own again. And so I have had to reinvent my channel because for some reason I was able to go back on my channel at first after a week, I think it was. It just wouldn't go in. It wouldn't do a live stream. And I always go live stream. And so my husband goes and gets more equipment. And he puts it all up because he figures, well, it got dusty or something, because couldn't do anything. It was for some fun. I hated every second of it. In any event, so we finally figured out what was what. So we're up here now. Uh, and I'm retired. I don't know if I mentioned that. Probably published author gave that away. Everybody's got to write a book. At the end of every cycle in politics, you're going to find 4,000 people that wrote a book about previous things at the White House. And I'm thinking to myself, well, that actually could be helpful because, they didn't even realize it was weekend at Bernie's for 4 years. So, a little slow on the uptake there. And they accuse hippies and baby boomers of shit. I beg your pardon, you dumbass. You've been in that place. This is the thing I don't get. They're senators. They're all of this. Okay, suddenly it's got to be red and blue. I don't care if they're purple. If they're doing the job, it shouldn't make a damn. It should make, they could be homeless, not a party of anything. Just you get to go vote on who you think will do something. Now, of course, I've been hearing our President Trump, and the other thing that annoys me, and I like President Trump, but thank you, President Trump. Thank you for this, President Trump. It's just, oh, I don't think you need to say thank you for doing this to the president every flipping time you do it. Of course, he may have actually made that a law, God knows. And I like him. I call him Donnie. I do. I like him. When he came out and he was on the podcast, which I later found out was Barron's idea. Forgive me, it's gotten a bit warm. It's Georgia. And we were in the 40s last night. Today we're like 85. It feels like we're standing out in the sun. Um, so I said, Charlie Kirk, I would mention this young man. And then I got to hear about some more stuff and more stuff and more stuff. And yet there wasn't stuff about what happened to this boy. Where's this? Why are we getting a photograph? There's footage. Why did these people take out SIM cards? Well, there was a whole lot of questions. And there still is. I think there always will be for some damn reason. I hit my knees. I was carrying groceries and I had the television on um, on YouTube. And I switched over to, after I heard the president say, they said he'd been shot. I was in Fox, I think. And then President Trump came out with lower the flags half mast. And that's all I needed to hear. And I couldn't understand it because I hit my knees. I just hit my knees and just started crying up. I started crying out. I kept telling him, what is wrong with you? You don't know this young man. I had not felt that kind of empathy since Princess Diana was killed. And yeah, I still think she was murdered. I really got it. 2 weeks before her death, she said they were going to do it in a car accident. Bam, man, 2 hours later, it seemed like, I mean, conspiracy theorists or not, it hasn't been disproved. The same with, now, I had no idea of his political associates. I already said that. I knew he was a good Christian young man. To me, a good Christian Hindi, I don't care, Catholic, it doesn't matter. If you're a religious person, you're 9 times out of 10 a pretty nice guy. You got the 1%ers in there that are looking for the black grimmery, so you got to kill them out. I don't like them, but they're out there looking. So I found all this out, and I watched as it was live, and I was just about screaming because I did not get what happened here. He's on a university campus. He had 3,000 kids there in front of him. Some 22-year-old takes a one-shot kill shot. What the hell? Now, I'm only a marksman. My husband is a sniper, and he doesn't know much about any of this. He doesn't pay no attention. So I asked him a few questions, and we've got a 30-06. I think we have 2. In any event, I'm not the expert here. I can fire just about all these weapons that we have. But I usually stick to a couple. And I don't really like to use what they call a long gun now. Although he bought me a shotgun for Christmas last year, I think it was. I don't know. I have to go to the gun safe. Even with no one here but me, that everything's locked down except my personal weapon, which I always have where I can reach it. Because you don't have time to go, where the hell did I put that pistol? I know, y'all, wait a minute now to put that knife down. It's just too many things didn't add up to me. And then you have the presidency involved. You have the vice president fly you home and his pallbearer. You have all these things that are going on, and we're not really hearing anything except they've got the shooter, which they had arrested 2 previously, and that weren't the shooters. And I heard also from the head of security, and I didn't like him. He's a liar. He didn't do his job. He didn't come close to doing his job. And he had a little screenshot of where he had asked the university police if they could send a man up there to the top of that roof. He knew that roof was a problem. Shocker. And yet did fucking nothing. This is no kids. That because it fires me up. This guy's got military background. He runs this company. He's the head of this. And Charlie Kirk paid millions for security. Also did not know the young man made millions. Been so much shit. It's just more shit every day. It's such a clusterfuck around this. And I didn't understand that. What I started to tell you was I heard the announcement that he'd been shot. And I didn't hit my knees at that second. When I heard President Trump lower the flags. That's when I found out I had just hit my knees. And that's when I started investigating, like Candace Owens. And God bless you, girl. Please stay safe. Just stay safe. At first, I wanted you to woosa because I was a little afraid somebody was going to get you next. If you ask me, well, for one thing, it's not this kid they have in custody. It's just not. How'd this kid know? Oh, yeah, maybe he went to the university. Who knows? I know he had a scholarship. Why would he throw his whole life away? What the fuck up? And there's just too much. You see one guy who's the chief of staff who's not a foot away from Charlie. The shot rings out, and he instantly, before a second has been completed, as Candace Owens showed, he turned and was on his phone and was to the parking lot. That boy was moving at the speed of sound. Charlie Kirk's body had not yet hit the fucking floor before his chief of staff, whatever it is, COS. And I said, no, because you don't, the entire campus, just 3,500 people running around screaming, ducking, hiding. This guy just, da, 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 da. Well, to me, that applies foreknowledge. Yeah, it just screams in your face. I fucking knew. And I don't hear what the FBI did, or then it was the state of Utah would be taking care of this. They still haven't heard a damn thing. They showed a picture of a rifle. Where is the footage? Some of them have been given in to see this Candace Owens, but these are all private videos, and so. But she's got them up there, and it's the most information we've gotten. What happened to all these cameras? Why was that bastard standing on the chair to get the SIM cards out of them cameras and grab cameras on the chair that Charlie was just assassinated in? He's standing in the fucker. Then I find out they didn't even secure the scene. Nobody's seen CIS. CSI? Yeah, that's the one. It's everywhere. CSI Florida, CSI New York, all of them. Yeah, I ain't never seen none of that shit. The first thing, even as a civilian, I would have been doing was slapping the piss out of those people that were up on the stage and telling them, get the hell out, and making sure if I had to get the students to help me to cordon the area and not touch that fucker. I didn't get that either. I find out after 2 months almost that he's been cremated. I did not think Christians agreed to that. I'm not sure. I usually don't believe in organized religion, but I do believe in Jesus, and I believe in the Bible, and the Ten Commandments are cool, whichever way you put them. So, just get thrown out of church a lot. I read a book. I just don't like what's coming down. He supposedly had thousands of emails saying they wanted him dead and all this stuff. And then after his death, people were shouting and partying and imitating. Oh my God, got two babies. The other thing I heard was he was having an internal audit done. And a few days later, he's no longer worried about that audit. I understand that several of his friends came forward and said he just didn't trust anybody anymore. We don't know what was going on. His parents, he wasn't in touch with his parents. His parents, I thought, were still invested in this because they had invested in it at the beginning. But I didn't know it was worth, millions of dollars. I didn't know none of that. Just I had this, I guess, picture in my head of the parents' garage, and but I didn't know he's 31 already either. He looked very young, and I didn't really, I didn't know the background, and so saying all of that, as soon as President Trump announced half-mast, I said, "Oh my God, this is shades of JFK," and I'll be blessed if I wasn't right. Sometimes I scare myself. I just don't. I was like, where the hell did that come from? And it turns out to be exactly what's going on. They did an autopsy. They didn't do an autopsy, but they had to do an autopsy, but they didn't do an autopsy. He was shot in the back and went down C1 through T6 or T1, C2 through T1. He was shot from the front, and it went. Well, this is what I want to know. I mean, well, you can take a shot. It took his carotid. And I asked my husband this because I don't shoot a 30-06 very rarely. And I couldn't say, I mean, it's a powerful weapon. But I was on the side of the people that were doing these things, through the jail and all that. They were trying to check this. And so he said, what grain? And I was like, the lowest grain is 149. He's like, I think so, yeah. I said, would that go through a neck? He said, well, yeah, it could go straight through and through. And I said, well, what if it hit the spine? He said it would fragment. I said, the spine is not very, it's not a big bone. It's not a heavy. He said, it doesn't matter. That's the way it's designed. Once it hits a hard target, it will change direction and fragment. I was like, damn it all. Because he was saying exactly what the people who supposedly the head of the, uh, can't even say it as the head of his security, was supposedly told that by the doctors. They locked the place down. There was no way to save Charlie Kirk, and it did not take 2.5 hours. And this guy says that he can feel a pulse when he jumps on him because he doesn't know if there's more bullets. If you felt the pulse, I'm shocked because if the damage was from C2 to T1, he couldn't breathe, no matter how much he would have wanted to. His heart stopped instantly because that controls all the shit in your body. You could have had a trauma unit standing right there. They could not have saved that young man. Now, they don't show all the gory details. They luckily blur that part. But I know from the size of the wound, even. And the minute the heart stops, all this has been surging out. He's going to bleed out in a matter of minutes, maybe, probably faster. I think 1 minute he was trying to answer that question, and the next minute he was talking to God. Amen. Because he didn't need to suffer none. I don't know what's going on. There's people at the head of these Calvary churches that seem to be lying, albeit I don't know. But they have one story, and there's another story that comes out. And why was a particular church apparently was very involved in this? I heard that, and I saw the Prime Minister of Israel and Yahoo come out and speak about Charlie Kirk. But I also saw at the memorial service that it was around the world. And yet somehow they're leaning kind of towards Israel had something to do with it because he had changed. He was no longer going to do some of the things that the Israelis wanted him to do. I don't know exactly. But I've spoken probably enough about him. I try not to take too long. But if you see something about it, or if you're curious, like most of us are, because none of this stuff's been released, I'd like to see the camera angles from everywhere. I would like to see the autopsy report. Yeah, we do want to see that. I didn't know that I would. The young man, like I said, I just knew him as the boy that said, prove me wrong on campus. But after that, it's like this far, no further. I've had enough. They made sure this is a window of opportunity, is what most of us in the military call it. This was a place that was prepared ahead of time. Head of security knew that shit. Oh, but they said they couldn't send anyone. What was I going to do? Break the law? I couldn't do anything. Do your fucking job and make sure that area is secured. There were people, I think, again in the crowd like they were when the president was shot. And yes, he was shot, even if it only got hit to his ear. That was for the grace of God. But I mean, had he not turned that, it would have took his head off live. And of course, that boy won't talk to nobody. And he got 8 rounds off, that guy did. I could have thrown a rock at him if I was the sniper for the Secret Service. I could have thrown a rock at him and moved his aim. Hey, what the hell are you doing? You know, you hear it. And, you know, you hear it. Man shot 8 times. He killed the fireman. He threw himself over his family. Had he not done so, God only knows. And another 2 were critically wounded. They were shot as well. And trust me, I haven't been shot, but I don't want to be. I reckon it looks like a fairly nasty little wound, even if it's from a small caliber. They didn't want anybody. They didn't have anything, no metal detectors. He said, oh, I brought 12 guys for security. And what you going to do with the 3,000 that want to come over and slap the piss out of you? You know, to call your buddy? I would. I would try to close. I would. These people could not guard my dogs. They're that bad. I mean, if I was really worried about somebody wanting to kill my dogs, I wouldn't let them touch it with a 10-foot pole. None of them, especially the head of the security. No way. There's just no way I would allow that. No way. Uh-uh. This damn thing stinks more than it does anything else. And some days my husband goes, "Don't watch." Like when I asked him this morning, I had not pressed him for any questions, and I said, about the 30-06, wouldn't that take his throat out? And turns out he says the same thing. Some people say, others say it would, yeah, it would have been an exit wound. It had to be. But my husband said, no, yeah, no, that's not true. And my husband is a sniper, or was trained as a sniper. I was only an expert marksman. I said, that's nowhere near sniping. Let me tell you. Yeah, doesn't touch that with a 10-foot pole. But he was. Under clearances, you do not get to ask even when married. Did you shoot anybody? You can't break that oath, no matter to who. You just never know. And now my son and grandson, they've come along too. And during this rift of not paying people, I was so pissed. Because, well, I'm retired. My husband retired. Although he doesn't act it, he's out working every day. He's 70. He's out there every day. My voice is terrible today. I have these stiffeners, little airplane bottles. My husband buys me the whiskey sour ball. Oh no, the whiskey fireball is one I like. It's got the cinnamon. The sour ball has the green apple. I like that too, but I prefer the cinnamon. It's just at the end of that. Woo! So after looking at it again this morning, it's every day again on that subject. We're not hearing nothing back. I hear there's a lot about the widow and how her dressing. And she was laughing, and there is a difference. Because some people just grieve differently. In my day and time, and just because of respect, even the peripherally those who are around you still wore black for a couple of days. I mean, it wasn't, you know, if you were the nephew or the uncle, what have you, they usually would wear black for a couple of days. The widow would, and I'm like that, would wear mourning for at least a year, if not 2 years. But that's my generation. We hippies, it's us. That's not this young lady's generation. I don't know if she's in her 30s or if she's in her late 20s. I don't know. Pretty girl, pageant queen, I saw. Good for her. I also heard people were saying, oh, they didn't release that because she has to be this Christian girl in a nutshell. And I was like, hey, she didn't do anything wrong here. You people watch this on the news or, well, on some network and every year and in your own states, maybe personally go. I mean, whatever. It's pretty cool. I mean, she won. Well, I get kudos. And that doesn't mean she's not a Christian. It just doesn't. Not in my book, it doesn't. But there are some things that like I said, I don't agree with, but it's not my place to judge. I let God do that. Whether she should have worn leather pants and hugged J.D. Vance the way she did, or talk about J.D. does. I thought that was very unconventional. I'll put it that way. Hugging Trump, wouldn't let go, and had to kind of push her off. I'm like, oh my God. She goes to get the Medal of Freedom for her husband. It's her husband's birthday. This is only 6 weeks after. I think 5. And she's up there in a see-through black blouse and stuff. I'm like, and she's at the White House to accept the medal for her deceased husband, who's been assassinated. And it says actual birthday. It's if I'd been around that girl, come here. It's just the absolute fuck all are you doing? But yeah, it's not my generation. Mine goes out. My husband lets me have my little cigarettes. I quit smoking years ago, and they had a problem. So I vaped for years. Still do. Mm. But Monday through Friday, I get up here and be myself at the bar. And he likes that I like these because I'm talking, so it'll go out. So I might puff 5 or 6 times, and I'm off to do the other stuff. So I try to enjoy it while I'm up here. Drop in, guys. I'm having the worst time today. Tickle the bell, do something, let folk know you've been by. Again, I've had to reinvent the channel, and I hope everybody will come over from the other side. I'll try to repost up on Facebook, which I have not done. It's as if I'm retired, and again, 10 months, unable to do crap will slow you down. It will age you quickly. I noticed as well. I never had dark circles under my eyes, and one day I went in and I was now on a walker type thing. And I was so glad because I was on my feet. And I went in and I looked and I was like, yeah, I need to apply a little makeup. What the hell is that? And my husband, yeah, you didn't notice that? I was like, no. Half the time I didn't put makeup on unless somebody was going to come by to say hi or what have you. And then, of course, I'd wheel out. My husband had to do the wheelchair thing because we have a small house. That's why we downsized. I don't know what people do in these little tiny houses. But, so I was kind of stuck in the master bed and bath. I had crutches. I could go about 10 steps, finally. That took me months to do. For forever, my husband was behind me going, I got you if you fall. I'm like, get me. Your one leg won't hold you up enough at this age. Who knew? I had used crutches before, and they asked me, can you use crutches? Oh, yeah, no problem. Problem. It was a mess. It was just a mess. I'm so glad I'm through part of that anyway. I have enough metal to set off detectors anywhere within a 15-mile radius. Telegraphs and shit start going. And I'm like, it's just me going to the VA. It's just me. We have a small airport I drive by. And it seems like that's what's going on. And I get stuck at every light. It's not a big base, but it's a good little runway right there by the highway. Well, I should say street, because Augusta is such a mess. Now it expanded in amazing ways. It really did. When we got here, I loved it because like it was a city, but it was kind of a smaller city. But I loved the drives and going, like what extra ways where my kids are. And so that was all great. And then they built it up and they brought in Kelly from San Antonio. When I lived in San Antonio, I was at Fort Sam Houston. And then I kept moving back because my son loves San Antonio. He's born in Heidelberg, Italy. I mean, Heidelberg, Germany, not Italy. We went to Italy a couple of times, but no, it was Germany. And he didn't want that. He just told everybody because it was really, I kept returning to San Antonio. There was, I guess, something that pulled me there. When I saw what was going on with the unfenced borders, I was just like, oh my God, I can't imagine what these people went through. It's not like these people weren't going to go up and steal your shit. I mean, it was like a plague of locusts. You couldn't get out. You couldn't stay in. You're at your door with a rifle. And ICE comes to help out, and they're fighting them too. And I'm like, what the hell is going on in this country? Then I see, and I've always wanted to see him too. I can't think of his name, Robertson, in Britain. And they're always putting that boy in jail. I don't know. He's always in jail. And it's been years. And this boy keeps going on. I didn't do the jail thing yet, but I'm fairly certain I wouldn't want to do it more than once. So, I mean, shout out to Rose. And, I love you guys. Yes. What it reminds me is what people seem to have forgotten. When the UN when the PLO, the Palestinians, they were the PLO, the Palestinian Liberation Organization, something like that. They were the ones that started stealing planes and shooting pilots and throwing them out windows and stuff. Yeah, it was them. Checking to see if they had any Jews on the plane. They loved finding those. The ones that killed the entire Jewish team for the Olympics in Germany. They were the ones. This is the guys that you go, hey, then you get a ceasefire. Oh my God, I'm so happy, right? So then they go and start getting the 18 to 21s or so men and taking them out in the street and shooting them in the head. I'm like, what? They just got to kill folk. Even if they can't kill the ones that they want to kill, they go get their own people and start shooting people in the fucking head. What the fuck? It's like fuck that, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that, fuck that. Every time I look, I would apologize for the language, but it wouldn't do me any good to do that because I really don't feel bad. This is the way I am. If you like what you see, if you want to come by and talk, if you want to come by and say, lady, you need to be quiet or somebody's going to shoot you. I had a senator just used to tell me that all the time when I worked in DC. You just go to the Watergate for a drink. Yeah, one particular senator, no, I'm not going to say his name, he would always come in and buy me a drink and say, you got to quit that, they're going to shoot you. Sweetest little man. But that was the other thing I thought about today, too. But hearing still about the politics that they signed this bill and they're going to get the Epstein files and they're going to do people, please. I've seen the photos from the Epstein murder scene. It's got an upper bunk that's just like bare. And you see the springs. And there's a row of medications that run along the top of this. There's what looks to be a red scarf in the floor. That's supposed to be a bed sheet. That's supposed to be what killed him. And they don't give you your medications in the bottles in custody anywhere in any type, be it prison, be it jail, what have you. Plus, he had just been brought in from suicide watch. They make sure nobody's watching him. Cameras don't work. And he's got all these meds up there. Like, he just took all these pills and killed himself. So I don't know what the fuck that's about either. But again, I have to go with shades of JFK. I heard an FBI expert. I haven't pulled these. I have to explain that to my audience. I don't pull these videos because I say, okay, you've seen it 15 times, but you want me to, should I take out of that 60 minutes, 10 minutes and put somebody else in there? And to me, it's plagiarism, maybe because I'm a published author, but it just, if there's something you want to know about or you want to see and you can't find it, or you just want to talk about it while it's up, I will load up one. But I'm an amateur at this as well. And I just didn't, like I said, I didn't like that. It just seemed too much time on everybody else's work. I wanted it to be Social Woodstock. We're all talking face to face, having a drink. You can pop a top at your house. It don't make a damn. It's noon everywhere. Fuck 5 o'clock. I'm going to go for you. Betcha it's 12 o'clock, guys. Load them up. I love these things. Now, it may look like I'm drinking a lot of those. Not quite half. Well, maybe half. Because I like to have my whiskey on the rocks. So I use a little shot glass and I put a little piece of ice in there. And I put a little taste of whiskey in there and go with it while I'm chatting. And like I said, when I was growing up, you didn't talk about politics. You didn't talk about religion. Well, that's all the fuck you can talk about now because ain't that damn else on. I got rid of actual cable and satellite because that's all the fuck that's on. It's like, so now I'm stuck watching 70s reruns. The Golden Girls are fun. So I didn't have time to watch TV, though. That's a fact. The hippies just couldn't slow down. And I heard somebody trying to say the hippies were to blame. No, bitch. I didn't put somebody in the Senate seat for 50 years. No, you guys bought him that seat. You can't find anybody that went out and voted for him. The other thing I'd like to address is, since I'm already in politics and going to get shot probably. Anyway, I went on them black helicopters to come by, just as a warning. Bitch, please. In the backyard now, damn it. Why do these people get in there? Why does everybody allow this? Why is that okay? Everybody goes and says, oh, no, this guy's been here 50 years. Joe, go Sleepy Joe. Bless his heart. I mean, really, bless his heart. That man's been demented. He's been in dementia since before. That's why they had to keep him in the basement. I couldn't believe he won. But then again, I'd like to see Hillary's face a couple of times, like when Kamala was made vice president. Or when she lost to Trump in 2016 and then fucked up his life for 10 years. I mean, fucked up. Every time they got turned around, fucked up. His kids, they had to put up money too. I mean, they attacked his fucking. Don't you attack my children? I always have a problem. You attack my children. You got a problem with me? You bring it to me, you little cowardly bitch. That's what I would have told them. Which is why I stay armed. It wasn't such a big thing in the 80s, and you were still military and civil service. You know, um, I took mine to civil service even, but I had a high clearance. But and everybody knew I carried. It was the way it was. And I used to break away because I'm a tiny woman. I need to get that thing fast. They're gonna say, "Look at the one." I mean, be like, this is why my husband doesn't take me out much. Mm. I try to keep things in a positive light, but in that particular case, I can't seem to find the light in it, which bothers me. When he hit the nail on the head. When Elon Musk said he was leading people to the light, and so the dark killed him. And that was the best quote I've heard in these almost, what, 3 months? It's two. But the FBI has it, or does the Utah State have? Who the fuck has it? What is this boy? Where is this boy? Why haven't you? The few grainy photos and seeing a guy running from a roof, and that dude was sparking. Now, I mean, damn, I don't think I could run that great even from boot camp straight out. And I wasn't but 18 by then. This person fires one shot, it's a kill shot. Nobody can tell me how he got a rifle up there. Then they say he's got a rifle coming down. I can't testify to that. You can't really make out what it is. It takes 3 seconds to sprint across the roof, put whatever it is in the gutter, pick it back up with one hand. He's hanging out with this one. He's pretty damn much. I didn't. That's an athlete or somebody's training. I couldn't do it before I went in the military. I certainly couldn't do it now. But yeah, you got to do a lot of pull ups and push ups to be able to hold your body up like that and dangle while you're fishing for whatever it is you put in this trough somewhere above you, and then jump. So he runs across this roof, puts that in the gutter, gets it in the other hand, jumps 14 fucking feet, doesn't slow the bitch down at all, and goes straight to a Dairy Queen and has something to eat. There's a whole lot wrong with that. I keep coming back to that. I do wish I would hear from you guys either in the comment or the live chat. I think like Candace Owens, I may start another email account so that anyone who wanted to could email me instead. Maybe people don't want their comments to go live. I don't know. I don't make any money doing this. Don't plan on making any money doing this. I think, like I said, it's social Woodstock without the mud. We get up here and talk about shit that's going on real time. I grew up in an age that you were lucky if you could get at the phone ring. If you weren't a fucking Dallas linebacker, you better not go get it. You will not reach it. 14 members of your family will beat your ass on the way up there. That's not the generations that we have now. My son started out with a beeper. My husband made sure I'm from 89. I had a cell phone, but we didn't want the kids to do that. And this is before the smartphones. Smartphones was until this century in 2010. And my kids also know, so do my grandkids. And one of them is an Army vet. And he stays with me. We're like this. But he has his own apartment. Well, he's 25, 26 now. And so you can imagine, I know at 26 what I was like, and I don't want to describe that. Can you imagine being in your 20s and doing Europe drunk? It's kind of like Absolutely Fabulous. Whenever one of my appliances kick on, I hate this thing. We have a chandelier here because we made the whole bottom floor like the bar. He mounted the TVs, did all that. We closed off one side into the kitchen with the bar. It's a big bar. It's a very big bar. It's almost big enough to where you could run a bar. It's definitely big enough for you to have, a social gathering of 20 or 30 people. It's that big. They couldn't all sit at the bar, but there's plenty of spots, to pick and add chairs. I mean, there's plenty of room. So we opened out the two rooms into one. and we did all this. I mean, it's got its own ice maker, its own refrigerator. It's all here. Um, so we've got quite the setup. I love it. Everybody said, you had no problem with it? Are you kidding me? How much money am I gonna save on Uber?" Like I drink that much. I only drink or have a cigar when I'm up here. Um, but it does try to bleed over. I got to admit. I hate being so honest. It drives me to drink. What's the other thing I saw that pissed me off? Oh yeah, the Epstein thing. We touched on that. Everybody knows he didn't kill himself. He don't come out of suicide watch and 20 minutes later get dead. I mean, allegedly. But yeah, I don't like that either. I've had to agree for years about that one. But this boy, it bothers me no end. I understand that he had a paternity test run without telling anybody. I don't know how Candace got that information, but someone's got that information too. Now, you wouldn't do that unless you wanted some answers. I was one of the first to use genetic mapping to determine which father it was. I was only the one, but before I told his stupid ass, I made sure I got the receipts, as they say now. That's one of the first. And so I can see uh, in some ways doing that. But now I wouldn't have thought so. All of this surprises me. It just has. And I keep going off on a different track because there's so many trails that I don't know how someone is keeping up. This is why it's Woosa. But at the same time, I'm glued to anything she drops because it's so fascinating and she's found out so much that it's obvious to me. This guy's up here with the white hat. He's making baseball signals, or he was talking to a deaf prostitute. I don't know which, but you can pick one. I mean, the other guy with the meta glasses. Okay, this guy's been shot right in front of you, the head of security. You got time to do this? What the fuck is this? It's all around the place. One guy's doing the sleeves. I worked crowd control myself at many concerts when I was in the military, and that would have been a good way to communicate. Oh yeah, we did. So I have a problem with that. I got a problem with people that are trying to sue her. She hasn't said anything wrong. She hasn't said anything she couldn't prove. People send her these things. They send her these videos. She has her people go over them. She does a grand ass job, and she was the top. She was number one last week, I think it was, for podcasts, and all over the world. She was number one, and I was glad to see that too. Although, hey, give a sister a break over here. I need a couple of viewers. If you guys would, just do something in there. Click on it for a minute. You don't have to watch it. Just turn it on while you're cleaning the house, ladies. So I get up here every day, Monday through Friday. I used to do it 7 days a week. It drove me crazy. And since my accident, I could not do that at all for 10 months. And I've come back. This is another reason I probably into that kind of thing about what's going on with those with Charlie Kirk and this, because I've just returned to looking at things like that. When you can't move and all that, your day is very long. And my son bought me tons of puzzle books, and my husband bought puzzles, and then he got me these diamond dot things. I love these things because I embroider. Uh, Usually my eyesight's pretty bad. Keep stopping. It's an angel I'm trying to make out of. It's a 12 by 15 uh, cross stitched angel I'm trying to make for my granddaughter, and I get through half an hour and I have to stop. So it's it's annoying. And the other one, I can see it fairly well, the diamond painting, and it's turned out really great. It's pretty as hell. So I'm going to go ahead and seal it and hang it. I did a wolf, and my husband saw that I was enjoying it. He got me four more. I don't know what they are yet. I think it's four more, might be five more. It's just to keep me going. So I didn't do a lot of television that much. And what I did, I tended to watch a movie or something like that. There's really not much on television anymore. Would you believe I've seen all the disaster movies that any channel has to add, and I have 500 channels. It's like Ancient Aliens, and they've done this pick and make now. All of this was bad enough when it was on cable, but now you got to have Acorn TV or BBC or Paramount Plus. We did do Paramount Plus for the year I was busted up. We had joined it before then. We all wanted to see how the pluses would work. We're not 2 miles from our store. They won. So, yeah, but it turned out to be almost vital because I think we'd only had it a week when I had my accident, and we used it a lot during my accident. Uh, we were smart enough to at least get supplies in before the hurricane hit. So they said it was just going to be a slight rain event. Wouldn't even hardly be measurable rain. There wasn't a tree standing. The most of the roofs were gone. I mean, the entire city. We didn't get any power back like to the VA for over 2 weeks. They had to send me to the University of Augusta to have the surgery. It had been a month since I injured it, and well, I just broke everything to pieces. But yeah, so and they were like, "You've been like this for a month." I'm like, "Yeah," and I'm worried about things growing back together like this and stuff. You can't walk. You can't. Don't do this for fun. How are you today? I love how that. Well, we can't. And why is the fuck can't you people treat pain? Well, people with opioids, and it was all I could do. Not just to. And say, here's you with Tylenol. You okay? I still want to go up and do that. I really do. But they did. I give them credit. I was in surgery 8 or 9 hours after I saw that surgeon. He was the head of the team, and as I was told by nurses, he don't usually bump anybody like this. They all had to come in 2 hours early just for prep because there was so much wrong with what they had to do to me, and to isolate a nerve and completely block it. And so there was a bunch of there were people everywhere. It was I kept thinking, and I probably said it. It felt like I was Frankenstein's bride. They couldn't find enough makeup, so it was like breathe deep, breathe deep. Kept putting that thing on. I kept taking it off. That's probably fucked up by then. I remember that. Scared everybody a little bit because it took like 14, 15 hours, something like that. So, and it wasn't supposed to take with, I don't know, 4 or 5, I guess. But I was like there for a day and a half before I got out of the surgery. They let you go home day of surgery though, which is cool until that paint shit wears off. And they've given you a Tylenol. Oh, God. And I had 10 months of that. Then it was physical therapy time. If I did not like my VA, there would be so many people hurt there by now. No, I don't. I mean, just I'd like to slap them silly and give them a cupcake afterwards. I'm sorry. I wanted to do that for a year now. Coming up to the end of my spiel here, whatever it is, stick. Going to have my stiffener. Maybe that's because it also waters it down a little bit. We have adopted a cat that was badly injured, and this happens all the time here in this cul-de-sac. They just throw them out, and then even if we don't see them, we start seeing babies. And this went on for some time, and we had lost our two dogs. Our Smoky Bear killed us, Husky and Chow. So we just didn't want any more pets, and we had one cat, Serenity, she's Persian, and she had been here just day one almost. I rescued her. My grandson wanted to rescue her, so we did. She's still with us. It's been almost 15 years. She's still with us. She's very cranky all the time, though. But we ended up adopting. There's cats. We have cats. I can't. I don't have any time to explain it. But people in the neighborhood will even come up in the middle of a storm after midnight, ring the bell. Robert goes over there. I'm grabbing a rope trying to get around. And this is before I'd got hurt. And they're handing him a kitten that the eyes aren't even open on. Where'd you find it? In the street? Well, we can't take in another one, and this one needs more help than we could do. We would have to take it inside. And they said, okay, we'll put it back in the street. It's like, cat. I call it, one of them I call Miracle. One of her legs was almost attached. I mean, it had cut through sinew and skin, everything. And around her neck, she had been caught in plastic buttoning. And she cried, and I'd seen her the day before. And I said, "Hi, I'm going to bring food." She was struggling to get free from this, and I didn't notice it. I'll never forgive myself. The next day, and it was like 900 degrees out there. She couldn't get away. She couldn't drink. She couldn't eat. And it was right there in front of her. And so she's a miracle. She's in the house because I felt terrible. And she needed a lot of care. Google does tell you everything, fellas. I became an almost veterinarian overnight here. One was losing an eye. We took them in, treated them. They were okay. We kept them. They bonded. I've rescued quite a few. Robert will bring them in and say, "No, that you got to help this one." And I call it the kitty ICU in the master bedroom because the kittens have no defense and they have major injuries if they would have been taken in. We're trying to avoid that again because the boys have to be spaded, so we let the girls, you know, with just shots, and we had to get the men spaded, and all that. And so it's not cheap. It's very expensive. We have one more that we had been saving. We'd saved him, but he'd gotten out in the winter and he wouldn't come back. He would just run. And then one day it was starting to get a little bit better in the weather, and he was eating up on the porch where I fed them because when it's raining, I feed them there off in the new uh, hothouse because our hothouse was taken out when the tornado, hurricane, all that came. So and we got another one. And when I will never forget, I just gotten out of a cast thing. I was into a camo boot, and which is it's a lot of plastic and Velcro. You've seen people on it. Uh, he comes in with this look and throws it on my leg that's just finally out of a cast. And says, "This one's dying. Do something." So we try to keep powdered milk for kittens in case we rescue one. We have bottles because we may have to rescue one. We've rescued many. Most of them, the last two I treated, I took them back outside and their mothers came and got them. So that was good. Now, the ones that we kept, like the last one is Fluffy. She was all fluffy, and I put that stuff on it for fleas. It's a waterless shampoo, and all of her hair straightened out. So you just try and do the best you can because what they have here is a kill shelter. They don't have one that will just treat them and help them and get them a place to live. We've seen many of the neighbors do the same things that we're doing. At least they set up food and water. We have one across the street that just got orders to Germany, and they were paying $1,400 a month to rent that home. And my God, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Nobody for these are 1980s houses. We took our sons over his starter house. He had a 13-year-old son when he found out he was having a baby girl. They wanted a bigger place, but they wouldn't let him hold this one and take on the responsibility of a second one. For this one was not paid for. And then it was, mom, dad. And we hadn't lived in Augusta. We'd only visited him here for a couple of years. But my husband made the decision. And I was like, crap. But I mean, he was to be closer to his dispatcher. He was doing long haul trucking at that time, all the time. And so here we go. We're down here. I liked it because the VA hospitals here, I didn't have to drive 3 hours up and 3 hours back, which is what I was doing. Um, so I love that part of it, and I love how they run it here. We have the women's clinic, and it's that they call the uptown division, and the downtown division is the regular VA hospital, which is where my father-in-law passed away. Robert's father. We used to bring him up here, and it was to come here. It was all day. I used to say, just leave me at a hotel." My husband goes, "No, no, no, cheap shit." She got the hotel room. It's always going to take all day. But now they've done it so well that I get to order my prescriptions. I get to do everything online. I worked in the medical field all those years, especially as a paper pusher, translating and all that stuff, data entry for years and years. Put those networks together. Every time I turn around, they had to get new equipment and tell me what the hell to do again. Shit. Luckily for everybody now, I like Gen Z and them, if they're into it, they're not changing the equipment every other month like they did for me for 50 years. When I heard there was a transistor radio, it was all you heard was transistor, transistor. Everybody wanted a transistor. Finally got one for Christmas. It was the size of a boombox. took those D batteries, sucked them dry in 10 minutes. We had some fun, though. We had a lot more fun than people think. Even though we didn't have, this in our face or a tablet in our face or a Chromebook or a laptop where I got all that shit. I used to fuss about having a phone on me all the time. Then it became more, oh my God, I forgot my phone. Turn around and go back. You're only going a mile and a half to the store, but you're going to get your phone. Well, I kind of run out of topics today because I only stayed with those two because I've had a lot of cleaning to do. I don't know how this house gets. Oh, it's cats. Yeah. So it's sweep mop every blooming day. I thought it would be easier because he took the carpets out and put in hardwood floors for me and painted. I love the blue. I got so tired of that ugly, dingy. I don't know. Maybe it was supposed to be white. It was terrible. I still haven't finished up because I got injured and he's just busy all the time. And he's 70. So I may not get the rest of the house painted, but we did get the hardwood floors in and stuff. And so I like that part. But they look so great that Swiffer and sweep and mop and then wax. So there's like a process of 4 or 5 things I'm doing. Plus the bar has to be taken care of. So it's got to be at least every other day. It has to be polished. The wood is lovely. And a huge new china cabinet. Again, I have to get in there and do all that. So I freaked out when I came out because my husband is not a cleaner. And he was in deep shit when I came out, let me tell you. Like, what the absolute fuck is this? I had to call the hoarder people just to get it cleaned up. And I would come through, and he had like this aisle so that I could only see certain things, I guess, because I didn't notice until they brought me a piece of equipment, knowing that I was going to come out of the cast, and it was a thing that would add air and icy cold to your injury, and it worked great. It was for pain. And I was so upset when I came into my living room. If I could have walked, he should have had to run. But I was not happy. And so he stayed gone a lot. After I made her mopping in a wheelchair, literally. So no, he didn't do any of that. So, and I'm still trying to get shit out of the corners. There was tons of dirt in the corners. I said, "Did you sweep it all ever?" Yeah, I swear. What'd you sweep? I swept the kitchen. When? Last year. I mean, so I know women around the world are going, yeah, right. I love how they pretend they can't do it. I always think that's so funny. Well, everybody, I gotta go. And by now, at this point, I have not had anybody drop in on me, so I don't think too many of you are gonna miss me. Now, I have another live one tomorrow. I'll try to get it out by noon. Um, because it's going to be, I think, Thanksgiving weekend coming up. So if it's not this weekend, on Thanksgiving weekend, I'm taking 4 days off because I have to cook. Don't ask. It's just, I have to cook. And I don't want to cook. And this year, I'm wondering how well it's going to do because I can't stay on this lake very long. So it's going to be an entertaining Thanksgiving. I don't know. I probably have to cook Christmas too. I don't know. Maybe I can opt out of one of them. I don't know. When I go to my son's, he's going to cook too. So either way, and I had a friend I thought was coming down there. My daughter-in-law's mother, the other grandmother, usually comes down. She'll stay with me, and we get into all kind of shit on the holidays. But this year she's put up a tree, and I said, "Well, if you got a tree up, girl, you go." We don't even try to put a tree up anymore. For one, it's just too much hassle. And there's too many cats that want to climb the damn tree. So I thought we should put it on the front porch and take all the stuff and put it in the closets. All the presents that will be in the way. And that's my penny going off again. He has to go see them. Well, it tried to go loose anyway, so I'm going to cut the string, guys. Try to have a good one. Let's forward to Friday. And, well, hopefully I'll see you here. Ciao.